New York, the scene of an unprecedented newsreel record as President Culver addresses world leaders. Across the solar system, preparations are made to protect Earth from the relentless march of the Gorg. Liftoff as satellites are sent to defend mankind's outposts among the stars. President Culver tells reporters there can be only one response to the Gorg threat. It's war.
Hi, and welcome to Indie Sandwich. My name is Tom. To my left is John.
Hey.
Nathan.
Hey.
And Glenn.
Hello.
Who will be sitting in tonight. Today we're doing a review on Unstoppable Gorg. Not Gorge.
Gorge.
A sci-fi tower defense game where the main story is like a 1950s, 1960s bad sci-fi movie where you play as Captain Atom defending the Earth from the Gorg and other alien species. I had a bit of fun with this game. I think it's mainly due to the story, which that's my highest point of the game actually, is the story.
I would actually have to disagree there, Tom. The story was quite amusing for me, but I actually found the gameplay quite interesting and found that the high point of the game.
See, I kind of got bored of the gameplay after a while. I don't think it was bad. It's just, it's a tower defense game and I don't think they did enough with it.
I think that's what happens when you put the game on easy.
I mean, I had it on normal and it was which this game is incredibly hard at times.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Before we go any further, explain like the mechanics of the game.
So it's like, imagine any other tower defense game. You have your turrets. You set up your turrets, and then enemies will come from their headquarters in a linear or non-linear line, and then they will go to your headquarters. In this game, they come from different paths, and those paths change throughout the course of the level. And your headquarters is situated inside the middle of the solar system, and you have like these rings around the HQ which you can place turrets on. And the cool thing about Unstoppable Gorg is the fact that when you place a turret down, it's kind of placing a planet down, and you can sort of rotate the axis of the planet to sort of align this turret to the north side or the south side of your base. And you know, if the wave changes, like you'll fight a wave of enemies from one side of the map, and then that wave will completely change, and you've got to change up your strategy, and it creates a really exactly. It creates a really cool dynamic in the game that I haven't seen in any other tower defense.
Yeah, that's why I found it very unique and interesting. That's why I liked it.
So it's like ships moving through space as opposed to just enemies moving through
No,
a trench.
no. You're in the middle of a gravitational field. You have like a planet in the middle, or you have a ship in the middle, and you have rings around it. And you can put there's little spots on the rings where you can put down a unit, so like a turret or a shield or something like that. And then what you can do is once that's down, you can move the ring itself, like rotate the ring, and that will move the placement of
the turret.
It's like an orbit, basically. You're moving the orbit of the object.
The enemies
so
will
it's
come in.
basically like they're moving through space.
Yeah. And it works. Sorry, when you said moving through space, I thought you meant like they fly around by themselves, not like.
Oh no, yeah.
Anyway, and it has a really cool mechanic.
It does. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It basically means that other tower defense games, you sort of plonk down your turrets and you press fast forward just so you know you get to the next wave. Whereas this,
you can keep moving through it.
You destroy the wave. You're continually moving your turrets along this dynamic path, and then their wave comes from a different direction. It changes your. It makes you think on the spot, and it makes you sort of work turrets together. There's turrets like the shield turret or the beam
range
turret.
Booster.
Yeah, the range booster or the web turret that work well in groups of turrets. So you kind of want to make them all positioned together, but if a wave comes from a different position, then you sort of have to work with what you've got. And there's only certain spots on each of the orbits, so you have to really make use of the strategy you can.
I have to say the level design and the actual position of the weapons is actually quite good for the because the enemies come in not a linear path. They go like essentially a squiggly all around towards. It could go in or out towards center bit. So if you can move it to they've made the gameplay really well, so they can position those to two different paths.
Plus
which I find really good.
Yeah, you have different weapons and different special abilities that do different things to different enemies and to yourself. And with the limited placement and being able to orbit, and the game being actually pretty hard even on normal, you do have to think in this tower defense game, which I thought was a really good achievement. Like, it's not like a normal tower defense game where you literally just spam the same thing over and over again. This one you do have to think about.
It's a little bit like Plants vs Zombies in that way. You also get to choose which towers or you have at the start of the game. So you also see the enemies which you'll face, and you get to choose which.
Because there's three separate factions you get to verse in the game. There's the Gorg, who are like the standard 50s UFO race. Then there's the Brain Riders, who are basically like these I guess, Zerg or
Pretty much.
brain enemies that just keep flying at your base and suiciding. Or then there's the sunbeam people.
Yeah, I thought they were toasters.
Yeah, they basically look like, all of their ships look like toasters, and the main ship looks like a hamburger. But yeah, there's 3 different factions, and they all have their own specific way to take care of them. So when you're versing all 3 at once in one map, it gets really, really crazy, essentially, and you just really have to, figure out who you want to take out first, which one you want to crowd control, which one you want to nuke, because there are different abilities you can use. I think, though, my only complaint with this game, out of anything, is that there's only one soundtrack and it loops through the entire game.
Yeah, that did get kind of grating after a while.
It's a really cool soundtrack. It's like a little smooth, jazzy beat, but then that's the only sound you hear in the entire game, so I kind of turned it off eventually, just listen to my music.
Which I found weird because I said before I really like the story. I'm a big lover of old 1950s, 1960s bad sci-fi movies because I watch a lot of Mystery Science Theater 3000. And in their cutscenes, they put a lot of effort into this.
They did, yeah.
The props look really good, like really old, like Plane 9 from Outer Space. And I laughed quite a bit.
Sunbots. What are these strange machines from the sun? We do not understand their purpose, but we have discovered their weakness. Sunbots are protected by a thick metal shell that shrugs off bullets. Yet beneath that shell lie delicate electric organs, which are easily damaged. Target them with the space ray, and it's lights out for the Sunbots.
Yeah.
But the problem for me was the soundtrack, which they didn't put enough effort into it.
There's just one song.
Yeah.
I just think that they put so much effort into everything else of the game. Like, you get... When you finish a game, if you find enough research, or you get enough money, or you survive enough of your guys in the HQ, you get challenges, you unlock challenges, you get achievements, that unlocks different modes, different weapons, turrets, etc. There's all these different things you can do in the game, but it's just so detailed everywhere that just, if there's one song in the entire game, just kind of, it's really, really noticeable considering how polished everything else is.
True. It was just in the background for me. Yeah. I didn't really notice it was the same song. It was just there, so it doesn't really have a what's the word?
Impact.
That's the one. Yeah.
You wouldn't go out and buy the soundtrack.
No, exactly. Yeah. But there was a cool thing though. If you actually look in the actual cutscenes, when the newspaper articles come up, you can actually pause the game and actually read the newspaper articles.
Yeah,
a lot of effort. The newspaper articles actually say in 1950s science fiction was this, this, and this. It actually says everything. It's going it's basically Wikipedia articles all over the place. But it's just. There's something there that if you're looking for it, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Graphically, overall, this game is very low.
Yes, it's not really high poly. It just it just works with what it is. It just.
Once again, it is an indie game.
Yeah.
Actually, it's by the studio that made it did Shattered Horizon, so it's kind of like a big company making a little game.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Future Mark Studios. They made Shattered Horizon, which was the one done in CryEngine, where it's the first-person shooter you go up and down space kind of thing, and I think they're also part of 3D Mark Studios, which is basically this giant benchmarking company for graphics cards and stuff like that. So
they might have got a little company to do this.
It's still a big company doing it, so...
but graphically, it's not impressive, but
it just
I didn't hate it.
The aesthetic is nice.
Yeah.
The aesthetic is nice.
It gives a good, as you said, 50s style to it. Which I think works well with the tower defense.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the cheesy story, if no spoilers, but the ending cutscene, it'll go the end ? And you're just I couldn't stop laughing. It's just so funny.
Anyway, overall, Puff,
I would put this on my wish list. I think it was quite a good tower defense game. It had unique features of the orbiting towers, and I liked all the different. There was a lot of replayability. It had extra, as well as the story mode. It had extra mini games, arcade, which I didn't get a chance to play, but I will go back to it and play those. So yes, I would put it on your wish list.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Puff. Considering how much content's in the game, it's only $10. I'd definitely put it on your wish list. If you're not a fan of tower defense games, you really hate them, then just wait for the specials, give it a try. But it's definitely worth playing if you're a tower defense fan. It really changes up the genre. And considering it's out on Steam and iPad, I'm going to be definitely going to purchase on an iPad when I get one.
I didn't realise it was...
Yeah, it's on iPad,
yeah. Definitely on iPad then. Originally I was going to give this a wait for the specials, but after discussing it with you guys and thinking about how good the actual gameplay is, I'm going to say put this on your wish list. For people who are fans of 1950 stories, put it on easy and just whiz through.
Yeah.
But also fans of tower defense, you're going to get some extra there. So yeah, I recommend this to quite a few people.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Anyway, thank you for listening to Indie Sandwich, and hope to see you next time.